It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do. What do you think he's going to do if he found her on the phone talking to someone and or feels that she's cheating on him or somebody sleeping with his girl? What you think he's going to say? Ooh, I caught you. Ooh, I heard this. Now he's gonna come in with it's gonna be a fight.
Kanye posted a picture of Cory Gamble, Kris Jenner's longtime boyfriend. The caption reads, "God has a plan to remove the godless. Cory needed to never be here anymore."
Cory would often post himself traveling on luxurious private jets, and quite a few photographs. Private jets that Cory is traveling on look a lot like P. Diddy's private jet. That not only was Cory Gamble extremely close to Kim Porter and Diddy, he was there. He was there when the coroners arrived to Kim Porter's house after 911 was called. Am I crazy? That's Cory Gamble, 100%. Not in the blue, the one right behind him. I don't even have a theory. I'm just confused.
The internet regarding Cory Gamble, Kris Jenner's boyfriend, and his potential involvement with Diddy's dubious business. According to some recent accounts, Cory was Diddy's go-to person for cleanup duties, including ensuring that Kim Porter's memoir was destroyed. And that picture of Cory visiting Kim Porter's house on the day of her death has everyone talking again. A laptop or Kim's phone may have been removed by Cory before the police arrived, according to some sources, which clearly raises serious concerns. The situation is further complicated by claims that during the most recent federal raids on Diddy's residences, authorities discovered documents and digital files bearing Cory's name. Although there is currently no official confirmation, there is a theory that Cory may have participated in Diddy's cover-ups over the years. This is where things start to get pretty gloomy. Some people believe that Kim Porter's unexplained death may be connected to all of this. We may be at the beginning of a much larger story if Cory indeed took something from her house that day, and it has anything to do with all the federal heat Diddy is currently under. There is no denying that Cory is more than simply Kris Jenner's boyfriend. There are even rumors that he may be one of the CIA handlers that prevent A-list celebrities from opposing the program.
Yeah, Cory Gamble has been a plant for a long time. Everybody knows it. Probably the one that groomed Justin and make him so pliable so that they could pimp him out at all these damn music festivals. He would be the right guy for the job.
The three of them were allegedly pals, and Kim Porter reportedly knew Cory back when she was still with Diddy. However, some insiders now assert that more was happening behind the scenes. According to the rumor, Diddy had Cory pose as Kim's buddy in order to get close to her and monitor her. Furthermore, it appears that Cory actually became part of Kim's inner group. 2 years after Kim's death, Cory shared an old picture of him and Kim with the description, "Diddy threw that large celebration for what would have been Kim's 50th birthday." Happy birthday, Kim Porter. I will always continue to thank you for all you and Diddy did for my life. This is where things go sinister. Kim's cause of death was officially reported as pneumonia. However, it appears that she experienced flu-like symptoms for weeks prior to her passing. But according to her relatives, Kim was busy and even received a massage on the day she passed away. After that, it becomes eerily eerie. Kim allegedly texted her in a group that evening. She called 911 when she got into bed, and he got me immediately after that. Now, remember that Diddy did not simply let it go after Kim and he broke up. He was actively spying on her, had people following her around, and maintained strict control over her life. Mark Curry, a former member of the Bad Boy, even said that Diddy wiretapped Kim's phone to make sure he was aware of everything she did.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do. What do you think he's gonna do if he found her on the phone talking to someone and or feels that she's cheating on him or somebody sleeping with his girl? What you think he's gonna say? Ooh, I caught you. ooh, I heard this. Now he gonna come in with the, it's gonna be a fight.
Therefore, if the rumors that Kim wrote a candid memoir prior to her passing are accurate, Diddy must have been aware of it and would have taken steps to prevent the publication of that book. Returning to Cory, several people have claimed that he was observed leaving Kim's home with a laptop on the day of her passing, even before the forensics arrived.
How am I just now finding out that not only was Cory Gamble extremely close to Kim Porter and Diddy, he was there. He was there when the coroners arrived to Kim Porter's house after 911 was called. Am I crazy? That's Cory Gamble, 100%. Not in the blue, the one right behind him. Like, I don't even have a theory. I'm just confused. And we're going to talk about this in the deep dive, but Kim Porter, when she passed away, there was obviously discrepancies in police reports versus coroner reports. Another thing we know for a fact is P. Diddy had her entire home wired with audio listening devices and video cameras. Was her passing caught on camera? Does Diddy have footage of Kim Porter passing away? I just don't get it. How has this man been everywhere, have connections with everyone, but he is really only known as Kris Jenner's boyfriend?
Therefore, it might be interpreted as willfully tampering with law enforcement if Cory actually took anything that could help or hinder a criminal investigation. Depending on the purpose and result, this could potentially be a felony. Why therefore has not anyone questioned Cory about this? Before the coroner arrived at Kim's house that day, why was he there at all? In addition to being Kris Jenner's lover, who is Cory Gamble in real life. The narrative gets crazy at this point, so fasten your seatbelt. As it happens, Cory may not be as naive as he has been painted to be. In fact, some people believe he may be an undercover operative. We are aware that Cory has been posing as Kris Jenner's boyfriend for a very long time. But has anyone ever inquired as to where this man comes from? He just shows up one day without warning, and no one really knows what he was up to before he hooked up with Kris. Furthermore, given what transpired with both of her ex-husbands, Kris was never gonna pick a nobody. The strange issue is that Cory has some crazy connections. He has tight relationships with Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Ellen DeGeneres, Diddy, and Jay-Z. Here, Jay-Z, Beyonce's mother Tina, Kelly Rowland, and Cory arrive for Michael Rubin's 4th of July celebration in the Hamptons. After a pre-Grammys party, Cory and Jay-Z are seen escorting Beyonce to her car in this video that has been making the rounds. In the meanwhile, it was clear that Beyonce was intoxicated.
Chill out. Sorry, Jay-Z. Sorry.
So give it some thought. Why is Kris Jenner behaving like Beyonce's bodyguard? There is undoubtedly a problem with this. As if that were not strange enough, Cory was also seen on Jay-Z and Beyonce's private jet several times. Cory is allegedly one of those Hollywood handlers or fixers, according to numerous rumors that have surfaced recently. However, because Cory is already with Kris Jenner and is undoubtedly not in dire need of money, why would he even bother acting as a handler for other celebrities? According to several sources, his handler job is much more complex than it first appears. Furthermore, there are rumors that these Hollywood handlers may be connected to intelligence services. Do you recall Kanye's former personal trainer, Harley Pasternak? Harley's connections to Canadian intelligence were revealed after he threatened to institutionalize Kanye and send him back to Zombieland. In an interview, he even acknowledged that he worked in a military laboratory conducting research on drugs that the general public cannot acquire.
And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance.
Or when you say drugs, are they like performance enhancing drugs? Or are they all kinds of drugs? Right, okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was, so I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday thing.
Therefore, these celebrities are not your typical personal helpers. They are allegedly employed by powerful industry executives to control celebrities, ensuring they do not reveal any significant secrets or deviate from the script. However, it goes deeper. In an effort to influence followers and mold public opinion, these handlers are also accused of promoting particular political agendas. That is perhaps why you never see well-known people defying expectations or speaking out against the wishes of their employers. We all witnessed what happened to Kanye when he attempted to defy the program after all. Speaking about Kanye, he has publicly criticized Harley Pasternak, asserting that he is only one of many handlers operating in the background in Hollywood. Additionally, Kanye expressed concern about the handlers surrounding his family in a conversation with the paparazzi, which undoubtedly seemed like a reference to Cory.
If Harley was part of intelligence, right, what kind of people you think are surrounding my kids? What kind of people you think are in that house right now?
Kanye also stated unequivocally that he does not want Cory near his children. After fleeing his Wyoming ranch in the summer of 2020, Kanye went on a tirade on Twitter, claiming Kim and Kris of attempting to have them placed under a 5150 mental detention. Kanye then issued a public warning to Kris and Cory that they were not permitted near his kids. Fans initially believed that Kanye was only unhappy because Cory was acting inappropriately around the Kardashian children. For example, when Kourtney and Scott's daughter Penelope scratched Cory, he threatened to get aggressive.
I'm whipping her ass, and I'll explain to y'all later.
What?
I would whip her ass.
You would whoop Penelope's ass if she scratched you?
I would give her a spanking for sure.
My daughter? What are you talking about? You would whip my daughter's ass if she touched you?
No scratchiness.
You would whip my daughter's ass.
Why?
If she scratched you?
Why?
A little 6-year-old girl?
That's a
What are you talking about?
That's the problem.
Many fans at the time actually supported Cory, arguing that perhaps Kourtney and Scott's children were simply overindulged. But as Scott subsequently clarified, it was really strange that Cory even believed he had the authority to correct someone else's child.
It wasn't like, if I was the nanny, this is what I would have done. If he was the parent, this is what I would have done. I said, I go, I'm gonna ask you again. Do you mean you personally would actually do that if it hands and hurt my little daughter? I just want to understand that. And he said, hell yeah.
To be honest, it is absurd that Cory ever had the audacity to behave in such a manner. His claim that he would touch Penelope is reminiscent of Harley Pasternak's vow to institutionalize Kanye, despite the fact that he is not even related. Furthermore, prior to all of this commotion, Kanye had already called out Cory. He was questioned by Kanye in 2019 for acting shadily and declining to introduce his own family to the Kardashians.
Kanye texted Cory something really rude. Kanye was like, I think it's weird, like we've never met his family.
The truly strange portion comes next. Kris went into full-fledged defensive mode, blaming her own family of spreading false information about Cory and Kanye.
Sit and talk shit to Kanye, and if you talk shit to Kanye, he's gonna put that up here and run with them. And I'm not saying we're all different. How about you used to be weird? However,
Kanye was not finished with Cory yet. In 2022, Kanye shared a picture of Cory on Instagram and referred to him as godless. Kanye even exposed Cory's dubious ties to Justin Bieber and Diddy, writing, "God has a plan to remove the godless Cory. Needed to never be here anyway. And I think he's a nice person, not a great person. A nice person who used to be around Puff's family, then got around Justin Bieber, and then when Kris got divorced, he slid in. We still never met his family, and I guess we never will." Subsequently, Kanye claimed that Cory had put Kim in close contact with lefties and that he most likely worked for a dubious company like DuPont. If you thought it was crazy though, watch this rediscovered video of Kanye claiming that Cory is a CIA agent while speaking on the phone.
Yes, Cory's CIA. Like, he didn't gotta say it. I know it.
What is really suspicious is that all of these pieces attempting to explain Cory's true identity and his activities before meeting Kris appeared in the mainstream media a day after this video went viral. This in-depth piece about Cory was published by Cosmopolitan magazine, and while it appeared to be a thorough examination of his past, it in fact included very little information. To be honest, it seemed like someone was attempting to steer the narrative and forward the plot before anyone could begin delving too deeply into Cory's background. However, online investigators investigators quickly began their investigation and discovered that Cory's ties to Diddy are far more extensive than we initially believed. According to some sources, they have discovered proof that Cory was a male nanny for Diddy, while Kim Porter's son Quincy was a young child. Other insiders even assert that Cory was an adult film star who had a covert relationship with Diddy. On Instagram, someone stated, "Usually when someone appears out of thin air and they have no solid background or family, they're an agent." Allegedly, Cory used to do boy-on-boy porn, so he definitely passed the Illuminati test. This whole situation is made even more bizarre by the fact that Cory was reportedly Justin Bieber's handler prior to infiltrating the Kardashians.
Guy, I mean, like you I'm kidding. But not everybody, these seven two. We are, we all call here. One cat right here. We can't dick, which these guys are. Hold on, one. This found a car right quick.
Strangely, the media never knew what to name Cory, despite the fact that he was always spotted with Justin. He was initially said to be Justin's manager. Sometimes they simply call him Justin's sidekick, while other times they say he is a bodyguard. It seemed as though the plot was constantly shifting, and nobody was able to pinpoint Cory's exact role. Let us make the connection. After spending years with Diddy and Kim Porter, Cory begins seeing Kris Jenner after Kim's death, but he still will not let his family meet the Kardashians. Kanye then denies Cory access to his children and accuses him of being a CIA agent. In the meantime, there is the entire dubious past involving Justin Bieber, Diddy, and Cory. In addition to all of that, there are rumors that the federal government has discovered evidence that connects Cory to Kim Porter's pilfered laptop. Fans are already speculating about Cory's true identity on the internet because something about him seems strange. But how do you feel about all of these Cory Gamble stories? Is he, as Kanye says, a highly connected member of the CIA? What about the allegations that on the day of Kim Porter's passing, he stole her laptop? Stay tuned for this upcoming video and share your ideas in the comments section.